So today we're going to be looking at threading in Fusion 360, and what I'm going to do is go through a basic example where we create a nut and a bolt. We're going to thread them both, and then I'm going to show you some joint and motion link stuff where we can make the nut rotate around the bolt. And we're going to do it all from scratch, and we're going to do it right now. So let's get straight into it. So the first thing we want to do, as always, on our component tree, we want to right click and new component. Always do this, it's great practice. So we're going to rename this first one to bolt and hit enter. First thing we do, new sketch, we're going to go for top down view because I like to sketch old school. And we're going to go up to create, polygon and circumscribe polygon. And this is going to be the sort of head part of the bolt. So we're going to do that first. So if we click at our center point and we use that as a positional reference, that'll keep Fusion 360 happy and it'll let us do what we want to do. So we're going to make this, I'm going to go for 25mm and hit enter. And you can see we've got these blue lines around the edge. And what that means is Fusion 360 doesn't have enough information and it's missing some dimensions. So if we hit D on the keyboard, brings up our dimension tool, and we're going to select these two endpoints and tell it a bit about our polygon. So we're going to come down and click, and we're just going to leave the dimensions like that because we set that radius earlier on. And you can see those blue lines go away. Now Fusion 360 is all happy, we can do what we want to do. So now we're going to finish sketch and extrude that up. So we can hit E on the keyboard and drag this up. We're going to go for 10mm. And that's the sort of head of the bolt. Now we're going to create another new sketch, but we're going to sketch on the surface, or actually the underside of that head. And we're going to create that cylindrical part that we're going to put the thread on. So we're going to go up to create, circle, center diameter circle. Once again, we use that center point as a positional reference. And we're going to make this 20mm. We might go bigger actually, let's go for 25mm. There we go, that looks a bit better. So now that we've done that, we can extrude this also. So if we hit finish sketch, hit E on the keyboard, select our sketch, and you can drag that up however you want. But we're going to enter in a value, we're going to go for 150mm. And you can see that actually looks a bit big, so I think I might go back to the 20mm. So if we come down to our timeline at the bottom, we're going to hover over the sketch that we just created. We're going to right click, come up to edit sketch, and that'll allow us to change this value. So we're going to enter in 20mm. Hit finish sketch, come forward on our timeline, and you can see that it's implemented those changes for us. So that kind of looks like a bolt, right? That's what you'd expect to see, except we don't have that threaded part. And there's an easy way to do this in Fusion. So we're going to go up to create, thread, and we can select whatever face we want. And obviously the outer edge of a cylindrical object only has one face. So we're going to select that. And we can see on the menu we've got this modeled checkbox. And what this does, if you check it, it'll actually model the thread for you in your workspace. And depending on the specs of your machine, you know, this might sort of cause you a bit of lag or maybe some other issues, but give it a go, see how it goes. If it's fine, leave it there. If it's causing you a few problems, just uncheck it. We're going to keep it in this case. And you can see another option we've got here is thread, thread size, and this is just the diameter of it. So if I go for 30mm for example, you can see that made the thread a lot thicker, but we don't want to do that because we are using our original cylindrical object as a reference. So the next one, we've got our designation, and what this is the actual thread height. So if we go for M20 times 1, watch what happens to the thread here. You can see it gets a lot more dense, right? There's a lot more threads in there, but we're going to go for M20 times 2 and we're going to leave it at that. But depending on what you're after, you know, you can play around with it. The next one is class. And this is basically to do with how well you want the thread to fit and you can do some more research on this, but we're just going to leave it for at 6G for this example. And obviously we've got directions. You can create a right hand thread or a left hand thread. We're going to leave it at right hand thread and hit OK. And if you left model checked, you'll see that when you sort of rotate around, you can actually see the thread. You can see the different lines there in our workspace. And now that's looking a lot more like a bolt, right? So now what we're going to do is create the nut. So we're going to go up to our top component, right click, new component. Double click it to rename, and we're going to call it nut. And we're going to activate the source component. I like to keep them both activated by pressing this little checkbox next to the component. And we're going to go and click the nut component once, create a new sketch, and we're going to sketch on the bottom plane. So we can hide the bolt, and that'll allow us to select this bottom plane. So we select top-down view. And if we show the bolt again, just for sort of reference, I want to create the size of the nut. So we're going to go up to create, come down to polygon. Again, we use the same one, circumscribe polygon. I'm going to create the shape of the nut, and we're going to go for something that gives us a bit of room outside the actual radius of the thread. So just for this example, I'm probably just going to go for 16 millimeters. Hit enter. You can see now we've got that nice shape, and we know the radius of the thread was 20, so we can hide the bolt again here on the left. So if we click the little eye, hides the bolt. We grab our dimension tool again, because obviously we've got these blue lines and it's not too happy. So we can click both of those, come down, hit enter, gets rid of those blue lines. And now we want to put in our thread again. So we said it was 20 mil, so we're going to put that value in. And now what we're going to do is hit finish sketch, and we're going to hit E on the keyboard to extrude. We select the outer part because that's going to make up the nut. I'm going to drag that up, and we're going to make the thread, I'm going to go for 15. We're going to go for 15 mil and hit OK. You can see now we've got these two separate components. So if I show the bolt, we can grab the bolt and move it to the side, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to focus on this nut. So again, we've got the nut. It looks like a nut, but we don't have that thread. So we're going to go up to create, thread. We're going to select that inner surface, and we're going to apply the exact same settings. So we went for M20 times 2. You can go for the class. We're going to do 6H. And direction, you can again select right hand or left hand thread. And check modeled if you want it to be modeled in the workspace. And just hit OK. And you can see now we've got these two threaded parts. So what we're going to do now is add in some motion links and the joints so that we can kind of get some animation going. So we want to go up to assemble and click on joint. And make sure that these are both separate components. If you've got them as bodies, it's not going to work. You can only create joints between separate components. So when we click on joint, it's asking us to select our first position. So we want the underside of this nut. And you can see that if we hover over the nut, you'll see it's highlighting that center point. But when we go to click it, you can see it disappears because we're no longer selecting a surface. So hover over the bottom part of the nut and hold down Control on the keyboard, and that'll let you go over and click that center point. So we click the center point, and then it's asking us for our second component. So if we come back up to the bolt, hover over that top surface, and we can select the center point of that too. So we're going to click that, and you can see that that's gone up and placed it in position. Now if we focus on the menu on the right, you can see we've got a few different options. On motion here you can see type. If we click that, we've got a bunch of different things in there. We've got revolute, slider, pin slot, but what we're going to go for is cylindrical. And we're going to make sure we're selecting the Z axis. And if you click this little play button, it'll animate it for you, and it'll go up and down while spinning. But obviously that's going further than we wanted to, so what we can do is set up our limits. So if we hit OK, and over on the menu on the left, we want to click down this drop down where it says joints, right click on the joint and come down to edit joint limits. And what this does is it allows you to set those points where you don't want the nut to go further than or any lower than. So we're going to go to front view, so we've got a nice side on view. And we want to go to motion, select slide because we want to select the up and down motion. And if you check minimum and maximum, what you can do is set values, and you see you've got these little sliders here and you can click and drag them and you'll move them up and down. But what I like to do is just enter the values in, so you can use this as a sort of measuring tool. So if we drag it down, we know that we want 150mm as our minimum. So we're going to enter -150 as the minimum. And it's already got the millimeters. And then we're going to click 0 as our maximum. So if we click animate, you can see it's going up and down in a sliding motion in those limits, right? So it's not going further than we set it to, and it's not going lower than we've set it to. If you want it to go lower, you can just change those values. So for example, if I enter this to be, we're going to make it 20. Watch it go higher than that point. See, there we go. So we're just going to make it 0 because we know that's where our position is. And we're going to hit OK. So now if you come back to the workspace, and if we click and drag that nut component, you can see we can drag it up and down and spin it around. But you can see it's kind of doing it freely, right? It's not following the thread. So what we want to do now is add a motion link between the rotate motion and the sliding motion. So if we go up to assemble, come down to motion link, click capture position, and you can select the joint that we want to apply this to, and we want to select that one that we just created. And you can see we want to link these two different motions with the same joint, and there we go, we've got the sliding motion and the rotating motion. And this distance value here, this is the distance of the thread height that we created, and remember it was 2mm, so we want to enter in here 2mm. And we're rotating 360 degrees per 2mm, and that's how you get the animation. So we're going to hit OK, and you can see now if we go back again, if we start to grab and rotate this, you can see that as we're rotating it, it's moving down the thread. And if we go the other way, it'll also move up the thread, and we can go all the way to the top. And this is exactly how you'd expect it to be with a real thread, right, in real life. And that's basically it. That's how you can model a thread in Fusion 360 and how you can create those joints and motion links. There are a lot better ways to do this, and I'm going to create tutorials on them in the future. You can actually insert parts that are already out there. So if you go up to insert, you'll see these McMaster components. And it's just a huge library of bolts, nuts, screws, everything out there that you can import directly into Fusion. And I'm going to show you that in a later video. But this is a great way to learn how to do the threading, and it's a great skill to have. So I hope you found that useful. And before I close out, if any of you are interested, I'm currently putting together a Fusion 360 course. It's sort of aimed at beginners, but I'm covering everything. I'm going to teach you how to do everything properly. And if you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description where you can sign up for my newsletter. And when I launch the course next month, I'm going to send out a newsletter and you can go and purchase it. So that's super exciting. Again, I hope you found the video useful, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. So before you go, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate all of you that subscribe and watch my videos. It means a lot. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more content. And please leave a thumbs up if you found this video useful. If you want to support me in other ways, there's a link in the description below to my Patreon where you can support me financially, and in return you get access to some exclusive content, but it's up to you. If you want to see more of my videos, click one of the videos on screen and I hope you have an awesome day.